Happy Monday indeed, guys. Let's get nuts, huh? Alright, good to see you guys. Oh, where are we at here? Turn that down. What is happening? Welcome to Film Junkee Live. It's Monday. Hey, we're in June now. Oh, we're getting into those summer months. That's for damn sure. Thank God the AC is fixed now. So it's all good. I'm not going to die while I talk about nerdy movie stuff. So hopefully you guys are doing good. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like, thumbs up. We got plenty. We got lots of DCU news to talk about. We're going to talk about some Fantastic Four craziness when it comes to those test screenings and CCXP. We got the box office report. And then we got a crazy video that is just a taste of things to come when it comes to AI leaked videos. So, yeah, it's going to be insane. But what can you do? All right, who's out there? Not many people out in the live chat today. It seems a little empty. It's all good. Ryan, what's happening? The box office money will be packing up after this movie. Almost as much as the chicken jockey. Hopefully. What's going on, Ryan? Good to see you, bud. We got Mr. Nobody right here. Superman is right around the corner. I don't know why they don't have billboards or posters. What's the old phrase? It's a plane, it's a bird, it's Superman. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Yeah. Still cheesy, but it works. Yeah, it's all about looking up now. Basically, it's all about looking up. So. Indiana Jake, good to see you. I wonder when tickets go on the sale. Sometime this month. I thought I heard something, but I can't remember exactly. But I'm pretty sure sometime this month they're going to be going on sale. They'll probably go on at least a month ahead. So, going to be interesting to see those pre-sales. What's going on, Eric? Mr. Hardboiled Entertainment, good to see you. Tickets for Superman is next week. That's what it is. Oh, there you go. Next week. He's got you. He's got you right there. So thank you there, Arkham Knight. 99, we got Jason McRae right here. What's happening, sir? Jacob, what's going on? Seeing Ballerina on Wednesday. Cool. I'll be seeing it on Thursday with everyone else. I'm not as cool as you, Jacob. Almost. Antonio, what's happening? Versus Seed. Diana Prince is technically a Clayface. Is she? What? There's a joke there somewhere. And thank you for being 53 months and counting, for sure. Appreciate you, man, for supporting the channel, and anybody else who's a member, which you can be. Like I said, I've been promising doing another members Patreon stream maybe this weekend. I actually wanted to do it last weekend, but well, I'll tell you why in a minute here. So, Brendan, what's happening? Let's get nuts. We got Lex Callahan. Happy Monday. All right. So good to see you guys. Good to see you, and hopefully you guys are doing good. Hit that like, thumbs up, do all the things. If you haven't already, please do that. But yeah, I actually was kind of thinking about doing like a Saturday vodka stream and inviting anybody who's supporting the channel, whether it's the Patreon or whether it's the or it's the membership. But it's funny. I either had a super delayed hangover, or I got a little bit of food poisoning. Not sure what happened to me on Saturday. But Saturday, for probably more than half the day, I was laid up because I woke up feeling normally how I do after a Friday vodka stream. And, I didn't go any harder than I usually did. I'm sipping my drink, and usually I don't ever really have like a hangover. I just feel kind of, slow the next day, but never like where you're going, So I get up and I make breakfast, and I make these Italian sausages. Now, after I eat some eggs, I made some scrambled eggs and some Italian sausage. Delicious. But if you ever have done like a night of drinking or something like that, where you just like, oh man, I'm so hungry, and you just start eating really fast. Well, it's like as I was eating, I got that warmth. When you get that warmth over your body, you're like, uh-oh, I might have just ate like a little too fast. And all of a sudden, you start feeling a little nauseous. And I finished my meal, but man, all of a sudden, a headache came. I was feeling nauseous and woozy. So I was just like, I just freaking laid back down, took a little nap, and I was just totally out of it till about 3 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock. And then finally I was like, all right, maybe I feel it. And then I went outside, got a little sun, touched some grass, and then I took a cold shower, and the cold shower is what really just made me go, all right, you're good now. I took a cold shower. I was feeling warm. I was feeling really warm. So, yeah. That just sucked. So that's what my Saturday was like. But yeah, maybe we could probably do something when it comes to this Saturday. But yeah, Saturdays have been pretty busy lately. But we'll see what happens. But hopefully you guys had a good weekend. And yesterday I just stayed at home and worked on things and watched baseball, did my normal things. So, all right, guys. Like I said, we got plenty to talk about. There's a lot of DCU things to talk about today. So, buckle up, folks, but we're going to start off right here when it comes to Tom Cruise posting about Mission Impossible and everything, the last 30 years of Mission Impossible. I love this right here. He posted this entire thread of just showing like behind the scenes videos, pictures right here from Mission Impossible, just all the different things. From the first one to the second one, all the way through with the director and the crew members and the cast and everything. We all remember this when he just sat up there like, yeah, this is nothing. Tallest building in the world. I'm just going to sit here casually. Whatever. I don't care. But yeah, just all the different little behind-the-scenes pictures right here. And it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. What an adventure. I just wish that Mission Impossible Final Reckoning wasn't the final movie. I just, you guys heard my little gripes, my little disappointments for it. But hey, you know what? Still a good run, still a good movie, still enjoyed it. Just some of the decisions I was kind of going, I don't know about that. What's going on, Droga? Good to see you, bud. And then Variety has released Actors Season 22, Variety's Actors on Actors. This is season 22, and they've been doing this for 22 years, or at least 22 seasons. And they release the names, and of course, the biggest ones that are on here that are going to be the most interesting. And they've already actually released the interview, but we got the Penguins. That's right, we got both the Penguins that are going to be sat together to talk about, of course, taking on the Penguin and being in the Batman universe. And then, of course, we also have the Schwarzeneggers. That's right, we got father and son. Arnold and his son also going to be sitting down together and having a chat, so that should be interesting as well. And then, of course, there's the entire list of everybody else right here that are going to be sitting down and talking with each other. I think Seth Rogen and Jason Segel, that'll be a good one right there. Even Dave Chappelle's going to be involved with this, which is interesting. I'm like, Dave Chappelle? When was the last time he acted anything? That's what I was like, what? Dave Chappelle? I'm like, when was the last time he acted in something? Been a little bit, but hey, whatever. That's still gonna be cool. But yeah, I still want to watch. Still haven't watched fully. I've seen some clips when it comes to Farrell and DeVito talking about the Penguin and doing the Penguin. Oh my God, guys! All right, this is where society has gone to. This is where we've landed right here, and I never understood. I mean, I will say the male psyche or the male anatomy. I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, thankfully I don't have this little fetish right here, this little kink. I'm glad I don't, because it's pretty damn disgusting. But I don't know how many times you've heard about either the OF models or anybody who sell their bathwater, and guys will rightfully and quickly grab that thing up. They want to have a lady's bathwater, and I don't understand that. I think that's truly disgusting, and would never ever would want that. Even if it's, I don't care who it is. I don't care. Margot Robbie, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I would never want to purchase someone's bathwater. But apparently when it comes to Sydney Sweeney, that's right, she's teaming up with Dr. Squatch. And Sydney Sweeney is selling a limited edition soap made with her own bathwater. Fans always joke about wanting my bathwater. I was like, this is just a cool way to give them what they want. Huh? I was expecting, is this a joke? I haven't seen any follow-up that it's a joke. Apparently, it's an actual joke. Or no, it's not an actual joke. It's an actual thing. I mean, there she is, right there, posing with the bar of soap with that very bathwater that she's sitting in. Well, maybe not that specific bathwater, but there it is. Okay, I mean, if that's your kink, fine, and I'm sure those are gonna sell out, which is what's weird. I have to have a conversation with somebody who actually gets off on bathwater. I just want to know, like, what are you doing with the bathwater? I mean, I don't even want to know what you're actually doing with the bathwater, but I'm just going, why would you want someone's bathwater? That's gross. And for some reason, I don't think it's actually. Do you think it's actually her bathwater, or is it just like it's just a gimmick? It's not really her bathwater, right? It's just a gimmick to call it that, and it's a certain scent, and maybe it's a scent she approved of. That's my guess. Like, it's actually not fused with her bathwater, but the concept still makes you go, Jesus Christ. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? It's all good. It's probably not even that. But hey, what can you... it's just, whoo, baby. Man, I tell you. And then this is pretty cool right here because we heard about this. We heard about that 28 years later... Apparently he's using some different kind of ways to film this movie, and it's pretty interesting, not doing the traditional thing of like, hey, we got our normal little cameras that we want, that we want up there that we are going to be using for this movie. No, there's actually, we heard that there's actually going to be looking at the fact that they're shooting part of this movie. I think it's just part of this movie. I don't know if it's all this movie. It might be all this movie. I don't know. But the gimmick or the concept is the fact that they're going to be using iPhones to shoot this movie. And this image right here was released, and it's pretty damn creepy looking, but it's also pretty damn cool. Look at that. First look at iPhones with attachments that use to film sequences, and 28 years later, special rigs were created to use as many as 20 iPhones at a time for certain shots. And you got some naked freaking zombie dude right there. But apparently they're going to be doing something. I'm just kind of curious because it kind of reminds me of the bullet time Matrix shots. Like they had numerous cameras that were in like a circular form. And I'm just kind of like, oh, that's very interesting. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that's going to look or what that's going to entail. And maybe the angle can move. I don't know. There might be some revolutionary shit that's going to be happening with 28 years later. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's just water. Yeah, it's probably just water. Sydney Sweeney is see you next Tuesday. Whoa, okay. They said entire movie since it's their gimmick. Yeah, well, it says just sequences right there. So, gonna be interesting to see. All right, what else we got? Oh, Jurassic World Rebirth. Okay, as we get closer to July, at first I was kind of going, maybe Jurassic World Rebirth is actually going to be the dominant one of July, because obviously July is huge, it's stacked, it's got, Rebirth, Superman, Fantastic Four being the big ones, and then of course I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot is also fit in there too, and a couple other things also fit in there. It's pretty stacked July. And, a lot of people, of course, are banking on the dinosaurs to be dominant because, they've been dominant before in the past. But, there's just something about this new one that I'm just kind of going, I don't know. Yeah, the last trailer was the best of the trailers, and there's been things that are very cool. But then you release a poster like this, and it kind of just flies out the freaking window. This poster is shit. What the hell were they thinking with this poster? Okay, so we got Scarlett Johansson. Naturally, they wanted to put Scarlett Johansson on a poster because it's Scarlett Johansson. But my God, she is like holding a big needle gun. Is that a gun? That is also a needle. And she's, very big behind the logo. And then, of course, you have the T-Rex and all this. And I'm just kind of going, yeah, this kind of blows. I always make fun of the floaty head posters. Now we just got one floaty. I don't know. It's just very interesting choice. It just looks weird to me. Like, why put her right there? You didn't even need her. You could have just had not her in there and just had the T-Rex in the water when you see the raft right there. That would have been enough, I thought. But apparently they were like, no, we're going to put Scarlett Johansson with her big needle gun. Not even sure. Yeah. But I thought that looked pretty bad. Like, I wasn't really digging that, but that's just me. That is just me. All right. And then, of course, we had a bunch of madness right here. Oh, you guys want to see a funny tweet? You want to see a funny tweet? I'm going to show, because this individual, I actually, on Film Junkie Live a few months ago, because he was totally coming at me with like threads of things when it comes to, of course, everything now. This is somebody who's a diehard Snyder fan, a Zack Snyder fan. And it was just kind of funny because I saw RJ right here. I know RJ sometimes shows up in the chat. I don't know if RJ's out there right now. Doesn't look like it. But he posted this right here, and we kind of briefly joked about it. But it's just, I don't understand this mindset of like, I don't know. It's something that I was like, oh man, I was like, wow. Do you live in an 80s movie? Because this is pretty ridiculous right here. And this has to do with statues, Superman statues. So Mr. Danger Hayden right here says, obviously you wanted to pick one. You walk into a store, which one you're picking? And it of course shows the new Superman and Crypto statue from, I think, Iron Studios or whatever. And then, of course, shows the Henry Cavill one. And he says, like, if you want your kid to get shoved in lockers, the one on the left. If you want your kid to be varsity QB and party with babes, the one on the right. That's right, a grown man said that. A grown man literally said, if you want your kid to be shoved into lockers, get the new Superman statue. But if you want the one where, the Cavill statue, oh man, he's going to be the star quarterback. That's right, he's going to party with all the babes. Party with all the babes. Wow. And what sucks about that is his profile picture is a picture with him and Zack Snyder. Again, one of the main reasons why I do talk about this is because it's embarrassing to the Snyder fandom. That is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Like I said, I responded to this dude because he was going off in either of my mentions and then his own thread where I was like, okay, I can't respond to everything he's saying, so I responded to him on here. And then guess what he called me for responding to his tweets? He called me a bully. That's right. The guy who posted that tweet right there about if you buy one Superman statue, your kid's going to get shoved into a locker and get a noogie and a swirly. Going to give him a swirly, a wedgie, probably atomic. But if you get the statue on, the Cavill statue, he's going to be the star quarterback and party with the babes. Probably get one of them pregnant. But I'm just saying, that guy, he called me a bully because I responded to his tweets. That's right. Same guy. Anyways, just thought I'd point that out because I was like, wow, that guy? Because I haven't interacted. He blocked me, I think, which is fine. I'm like, yeah, block me. We don't have to interact. We were just interacting at that one point, and I responded. I've been called a bully before by a lot of these guys. These guys like to act tough when they're pounding on their keyboards, but they're fucking pussies in real life. Anyways, okay. By the way, through this whole toy thing, I had no idea that this was actually a thing. I actually talked about this on the Vodka stream. I'm like, wow, when was this actually made? They had hero buddies? Because I used to have a wrestling buddy of Hulk Hogan when I was a kid. I was like, I kind of need this right now. I was like, they had a Henry Cavill, like, hero buddy. Damn, I need to freaking find one of those on eBay or something. Totally. And then, yes, guys, Marvel Studios not going to be at Comic-Con, or at least Hall H. They're going to be at Comic-Con, but not going to have a big presentation. There's not going to be a presentation when it comes to that. Same thing with DC. I don't know. Comic-Con's such a weird thing. I don't know. It's going to be weird how Comic-Con is treated this year by both Marvel Studios and DC Studios. That's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm like, all right, so they're not going to have and it makes sense for Marvel Studios to not have a Hall H presentation. I actually get that because, well, I mean, they could do the whole thing where it's like, oh yeah, we could have Fantastic Four, we could do a screening for fans, kind of like what they did for Deadpool and Wolverine. But then I'm kind of going like, well, the cast of Fantastic Four is in the UK filming Doomsday. And yeah, I don't think they want to just like, hey, well, we got to fly you now to San Diego, do that whole thing. But that's all we got. And, because after Fantastic Four, all they have is shows. They have shows coming out. They have Ironheart and Wonder Man coming out, but other than that, there's really not much. Next year, I think they could have something. There's definitely going to be something because obviously they're going to be leading up to Doomsday, which has been postponed. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, next year they're definitely going to have something. But it does make sense. But I'm just kind of going like, all right, so DC Studios, obviously it's like a week after Superman. I don't know. I can understand why they're not going to have like a Hall H presentation too, because, the big movie's already come out. Everything, money's pretty tight. We'll see. But, it makes sense that they're not there. It really does make sense. What else we got? We got that. Oh, this is pretty funny, too. Somebody took a picture of a cat. So, I don't know. Sometimes when it comes to cats or even animals in general, yeah, you breed an animal. Sometimes the fur comes out in an interesting color, different color patterns. And there's been many times where someone's taken a picture and then you can actually associate what the animal looks like to, well, maybe a popular movie character or specifically a comic book character. Well, how about Winter Soldier the cat? What? Look at that. How adorable is that? Totally looking like Winter Soldier right there. Just pretty crazy how that arm is gray and black. Gray and black right there, while the rest of his fur is white and orange. Somebody send that to Sebastian Stan. He would get a kick out of that one. Somebody do that. That's pretty funny. What else we got? Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, so we got trailers. Okay, let's talk about some of the... Okay, so, ta-dum! We got a bunch of ta-dum content that happened on, what, Saturday or was it yesterday? Can't remember. No, it was yesterday, right? Was it yesterday or was CCXP yesterday? What's the date on this? Okay, no, it was Saturday. Of course, Tadum was not on. Sunday was on Saturday. Like I said, my weekend after just not feeling well on Saturday, I'm all off. But yes, Tadum happened and, a bunch of things were happening. They had a big presentation with things and whatever. I only care about certain things, and one of the things that we saw was Dead. What's it called? Wake Up, Dead Man, which is the third in the Knives Out trilogy from Rian Johnson. So this teaser was shown right here, which looks pretty interesting. We won't show the whole thing, but there he is.
Impossible crime.
Won't you spare me over till the
There's Renner. This is a stacked cast. Mila
For man
Kunis.
a reason. This is the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
And I solved murders.
I'll open the door to heaven or...
Look at that cast. That cast is pretty damn stacked right there. Forgot that Josh Brolin is also in it, but that looked pretty good. Kaylee Spaney is also in there. Looks pretty good. Looks different. Looks different from... What I like about this trilogy that Rian Johnson has been doing when it comes to this Knives Out trilogy, he's trying to make each one feel different from the last one. Because even Glass Onion didn't feel like Knives Out, and then this one doesn't feel like the other two either. So I'm liking the different tones with the different, obviously the different cases that what's-his-name has to solve. And then, of course, the one that a lot of people were wanting, of course, was Frankenstein from Guillermo. So we have our first look at this, which looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, we won't watch the whole thing, but yes, Guillermo.
Some of what I will tell you is all true.
There's Oscar Isaac. There's
What
the
manner
monster,
of
probably. You don't really get to look at that. Frozen horses, frozen people.
In seeking life.
There he is. It's alive!
death.
Alive! And that's Jacob Elordi right there. That is the monster. And of course, Maya Goff is in there. Christoph Waltz. That needs to be seen on the big screen. Netflix. That's a movie. I want to see the other one too. But Come on, Netflix. Put that out for like a limited release, please. Please. Oi. And then finally, well, not finally, but then we have Happy Gilmore 2. And I tell you what, guys.
My name is Happy Gilmore.
I should probably turn that down. I'm a Happy Gilmore fan. Love the first one and everything. You know, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. And, you know, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to watch it regardless. But, you know, you could just totally tell it's probably going to not be that great. It's probably going to be bad. It probably will be. And I tell you what, if you were to take a shot with every callback from the first movie, you would be drunk and on the floor halfway through. There are so many callbacks in this trailer. I mean, he's still driving the same car. I mean, it's like, wait, didn't he make a bunch of money, but he still got the same car? There's just a lot of different callbacks. I mean, there's so many callbacks, like just ridiculous, where it's like too many. Might as well call it Happy Gilmore callbacks. Just way too many. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of callbacks. Obviously, they're going to have some callbacks, but there are so many. Just of course, you got Ben Stiller's character, which that's fine, but at the same time, I'm like, there's a lot of different callbacks. That's for damn sure. Apparently, that's really Adam Sandler's daughter right there, too. Plays his daughter in this. Of course, riding the bull, doing all that. And that's and then, of course, Chubbs. Apparently, Chubbs' son also has a fake hand. That's supposed to be Chubbs' son, and he's got a fake hand, too. It's like, why does he also have a fake hand that has broken fingers on it? I mean, and of course, everybody's riding the bull, the fucking doing all that, and they're just choking them out. That's also a callback. You know, there's just like a lot of callbacks. Definitely a lot of callbacks. There's that, I guess that's that big dude's son. And then, of course, there's, you know, why would I steal the life of somebody who eats pieces of shit for breakfast? Shooter! So, did his wife die from the first one? No, she was there in Indiana. They showed her, whatever her name is, Julie Bowen? Yeah, she's there. She's definitely there. But, you know, like I said, I'm still going to watch it, but I just was watching that. I'm going, jeez, there are callback after callback after callback. Movie's probably not going to be that great, but hey, I'm not expecting a lot from an Adam Sandler movie. And then, of course, what a lot of people were anxiously waiting for, Stranger Things. That night. That's right, Stranger Things Season 5. That's right. Where all the kids are in their early 30s now. So it's basically this little teaser, basically a recap. It's just kind of showing, you know, the last 10 years. Essentially what was happening in the last 10 years. So a lot of that, and then eventually it gets to the new footage and everything. That shot right there, holy crap. That just looks creepy as all hell right there. Like, what is going on right there when it comes to the upside down and just, all the little, and then there's like a little egg thing right there. Ugh. That's just creepy shit right there. So, yeah. Season 5 finally coming out. My God. Oh, man. It's just like I said, these kids are like, they're like late 20s now, it seems. You don't care for Stranger Things anymore? Ryan Coogler says, no, I will not do a Sinner sequel. Huh? Even after all the buzz and all the money that it's made, you're not going to capitalize on that? Oh, what are we doing here? Well, that's actually pretty good. I think that's actually kind of a good thing. Now, he just said sequels because right here, he was talking to Ebony.com. I've been in a space of making franchise films for a bit, so I wanted to get away from that. I wanted the movie to feel like a full meal. And if you've seen Sinners, it is a full meal. There is actually an ending for the main character that, you know, kind of time jumps and everything. Well, not kind of time jumps, it does time jump. No spoilers right there of what actually happens, just in case you haven't seen it, but I'm just saying, yes, it was a full meal, but there is a lot there they could actually do. Spin-offs we'll see what happens. He's saying this now, which is say kudos to him, and nothing's going to be made without him because he does own the IP, so that's good. But we'll see what happens. I don't think there should be a sequel, but maybe some spin-offs. There could be something to add to the mythology of Sinners. Is the stream all right? D-Man says the stream's that it like stick. Are we good? Is the stream okay? Still recording. Everything looking good, at least on my end. Sinners Digital in 2.5 hours. There you go. So you can actually get it in 2.5 hours if you want it. Okay, so it just like locked up for a minute. Okay, so good. We got some, I don't know who made this art right here. Let's see. Who made this art? Did you credit? Nobody credited it. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about Superman, but I wanted to show this. We have the Superman art right here that looks very much like promo art, which promo art is obviously like drawn, but it looks like slightly realistic, but not really because just the way it's drawn. Of course, everything looks a lot shinier and sharper. Well, they did that with David Cornsweat's Superman. There's what it looks like right there, and it goes pretty fucking hard. It goes pretty hard, and as you can see, the suit looks obviously really good. It's got the shine. It is wrapped around. You can see the muscle definition. Everything is looking just fine when it comes to that. And naturally, we have people, of course, when I posted this, there are people that are just like going crazy in my mentions. There's one dude that was going absolutely batshit crazy. And again, there's like dudes that are just have such big egos or soft egos. I'm not sure exactly what it's just something that fascinates me when I have dudes in my mentions that start commenting about somebody else's physique. They're like, I think they're still arguing right now for 24 hours. Over 24 hours, there's like this one dude who, of course, had to show me that he lifts, bro, he lifts. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, you obviously lift. Are you on the sauce? Because you're acting like you are. Anyways, but yeah, so him and this other guy were going back and forth about that. And I'm just going like, hey, this kind of art, this style art right here, you can look at it for different kind of promos. They always do this where they take probably an actual shot of the person, but they actually, make it look like it's not exactly real. And then of course they do everything. They add shine. They add like I said. And I'm like, yeah, they've done it all before. And yes, that's not what the actual costume looks like, and that's not what he looks like. Of course, that's not the case. But of course, there are dudes, specifically dudes, that always have to show up in the mentions and be like, that's not what he looks like. Yeah, no shit. Thank you. But it looks cool. Oh, you gotta love social media, right? I know, the dude was, I think it was that one. No, I think it was a different one. No, okay. Yeah, it was that one. Yep, okay, yeah. Fuck, yeah, I'm looking at the mentions. Oh, yeah. And I even told them, I even said, I was like, guys, you guys are just running in circles. These two were going at it, and they were just going back and forth. I'm like, you guys are just running around in circles. But it's just so crazy to me. I'm like, especially when the guy oh yeah, because I always say yeah, usually these guys are always commenting about another dude's physique and they probably haven't done a push-up since PE class. But of course the guy shows him at the gym. He took a picture of himself at the gym and he's all, he's a big dude. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Why do you care? But apparently he has a big fucking man boner for Henry Cavill, of course. So, what can you do? It's whatever. And I want you guys to pick. Okay, so I put this out here, and I think, I could tell who won. I probably should have ran a poll, to be honest, as opposed to just doing this. But, I finally finished my Mission Impossible rewatch. I watched Dead Reckoning over this weekend, and it's funny, too, because when I was watching Dead Reckoning, I'm going, man, maybe I should, again, I put my ranking out there for Mission Impossible a week and a half ago. And I'm like, this could change because it's just what I was feeling at the time. And I put Dead Reckoning last. And then when I rewatched it, I went, you know what? Final Reckoning still might end up being last just because of how disappointed I was when it came to certain things, even though I still really enjoyed it. And I enjoy all the Mission Impossible movies. But then I had this thought and I went and asked. I was like, hey, so James Bond has his Bond girls. And usually a Bond girl doesn't mean a love interest. Most of the time it's just, hey, she's there, I'm here, I'm a little buzzed off of this martini and I'm about to, I'm like, I need to unwind because I'm trying to figure out how to save the world right now. There's a bad guy that's holding some nuclear warhead somewhere or some kind of drill that's going to fuck up the Earth's core or some shit like that. So I just want to unwind and, you know, get me some. So James Bond has Bond girls. Now, Ethan Hunt wasn't the womanizer that James Bond was or is, but Ethan Hunt had some love interests. So I put out the four major ones, starting with Thandie Newton's in Mission Impossible 2, which totally forgetting her character's name right now. But you had Thandie Newton, and then of course you had his wife, essentially, that showed up in what? She showed up in obviously Mission Impossible 3, and then she showed up in Protocol, and then she showed up again in Fallout, which is pretty cool. And obviously that didn't work out. Michelle Monaghan, and then of course, I mean, come on, Ilsa. You got Ilsa right here, who became a love interest, and just that shot right there will just, you know, well, come on. And then, of course, you have the latest one, Grace, Haley Atwell, who is basically Ethan Hunt's kind of love interest now in a way, but kind of not. I don't know. And I was like, all right, pick one. And of course, everybody's picked is Ilsa. Ilsa. I always say her name wrong. Ilsa. I always want to say Isla or something. Ilsa, which of course Rebecca Ferguson, right? I'm saying, and that's who I'd pick too. I would say Rebecca Ferguson as well because she's badass. They did her dirty though, man. They fucking did her dirty. I hate that they did her so dirty. It just felt like they did her dirty. That's just me though. Okay, what else we got? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about. I mean, I know we're going to be getting into the, you know, more Superman stuff, but this has nothing to do with, you know, DCU news or Superman news. But let's talk about the Superman suit. Let's talk about a version of the Superman suit that someone created that somebody actually sent to me. My cousin sent this to me. My cousin, who's a big-time Superman fan, he actually sent this mock-up from Unmasked Studio and their bespoke superhero costuming. That's what this is built by. I'm not sure if they actually made this costume or I think it's just an edit, you know, but it almost looks like, hey, maybe they actually put it on a mannequin. But obviously, you know, the discourse when it comes to the new Superman suit is going to be out there. So they took it upon themselves to create their own version that's, you know, it's got still the same logo. It's got the chonies, but they added a little bit more flavor to it. And I put it out there just to see how people were feeling. A lot of people responded to it for sure. And there it is right there. So, Superman logo, the new Superman logo, the Kingdom Come style logo. We got the chones, but everything else is pretty different. Well, we got the muscles back. We got the back. It looks a little. I don't get how it's kind of. It was actually not like that, but of course, abs and you got the these fucking thighs, thunder thighs, goddamn thighs. I think a little overboard on the thighs. Okay, holy. Looks cool. Belt they made with the oval thing. I don't mind that there's a little bit of the muscle. I don't mind that at all, but I get use it, but those thighs. There's some people that there's a lot of people that think it's better than what we're getting, but that are underneath that tweet and everything as but it's just kind of interesting costume. What's going to happen with the super costume as a DCU, you know, further along? I mean, James even said he's like, basically, and a lot of people. It's like, wait, you made a Superman blueprint. logo is kind of weird too, but then again, it's like said that only Henry Cavill could wear that costume. I literally had somebody in the mention say only Henry Cavill can wear that costume. I'm going, why the fuck would you want Henry Cavill to wear that costume? He already has a perfect. Why would you want to put Henry Cavill in that? Keep Cavill in his own costume. His own costume is badass. Relax. Relax. James Gunn took over the stream. What happened? Something happened? Is it frozen? Is the stream not working, guys? What are we doing here? I might have to look. Showing that it's working on Twitter. Is it YouTube that's not working? Is YouTube acting like a... YouTube's acting laggy? That's great. Because I'm looking at it. Oh, well. But it's just starting. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. Maybe it isn't working that great. Oh, great. What's going to happen with the super costume as the DCU, further along? Relax. James. So there's like a big time lag. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm trying to see. Twitter looks like it's a little lag. I don't even know what the hell's going on. You can hear me talking. I'm trying to see. Twitter looks like it's a little lag. Okay, so that's... We good? We're back? All right. I don't know what's going on with that right now. It seems everything looks good on my end, so I don't know if the internet's just going crazy. Who knows? Everyone refresh it. And we also did not know this was happening, but hey, we got a trailer for the Black Phone 2 from Scott Derrickson, which I really enjoyed the first one. We got what's his name returning, this dude. And of course, Ethan Hawke's character did die. Spoiler alert. But apparently he's back, and now it's almost sounding like, what, is he going to be like a Freddy Coogler type? What's going on with this? Because, obviously the Black Phone has to do with paranormal things. That's how that kid was able to get out. But look at that.
He's here.
So it's like almost like a Freddy Krueger kind of thing going on right here. Not sure what the hell the deal is, but man.
Is mine.
Look at that. Oof. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Oh, James Gunn is in the stream just ended? Am I not streaming anymore? What's going on? Okay, why did D-Man say the stream just ended? What are we doing here? All right, D-Man, you're freaking throwing me off, man. Jesus Christ. Oi. Don't say the stream ended. All right, well, I'm just going to continue along. I'm going to go ahead and ignore the chat because I hate it when that shit happens, when people say one thing and it's not happening, because then it throws me all off. All right, so I'm just going to minimize the chat. Hopefully it runs. I'm just going to get through the tweets here. All right, so moving on to from one horror type of psychological mindfuck of a movie to another. We Empire Magazine, obviously I'm very much looking forward to this. I know some of you guys are looking forward to it as well. But Zach Creggors' Weapons movie got a new still right here. And then, of course, if you guys remember, it's a horror epic in which a whole class of kids disappears in the night. And he said it's a fun movie, and yet the story the story that it tells is really fucked up. So there's a still right there when it comes to Empire, showing a kid, I guess, apparently about to leave the house. That's what I'm very curious about. Is like, how are all these kids leaving the house so late, you know, early in the morning and everything? So, very interesting. All right, let's see what else we got. Keep going. And then, yes, guys, today, if you guys remember, like a couple of weeks ago on DC Fanimated, we had Ernie Altbacker on as a guest, and we picked his brain. He's a guy who's written all kinds of DCAU movies, animated movies, DCU animated movies, and he has a new Kickstarter that just launched today. And there it is right there. It's Area 51 Studios, and it's a pretty interesting concept. Basically, it's a book about, you know, basically aliens creating, you know, movies and videos and all this kind of stuff to basically create propaganda and whatnot. And it's right up my alley because I'm all about the alien type of stuff in Area 51. But yes, the Kickstarter today, I reposted it on my Twitter. So if you guys want to support this, do it. Please do. I'm gonna back it up a little bit as well. And we're hopefully gonna have Mr. Altbacker on very soon to talk about this project in particular. So check it out. Check it out. And then this is freaking crazy and weird. Oh my God. So we just got the trailer. We just got the new trailer for the new King of the Hill revival that brings King of the Hill into modern day. And the guy who voiced John Redcorn, if you guys remember that character from King of the Hill, he died yesterday. That's right. He died yesterday. He got shot by his neighbor, and not a good thing. Not a good thing right here, because his husband posted this right here and basically just gave a statement saying that, yes, he was passed away at age 59 after being shot, and apparently it was like a homophobic attack. Apparently the neighbor was not happy, you know, is one of those people that doesn't like to see two men together, and was, I guess there was always like a back and forth kind of thing, and basically it ended up getting really bad where Mr. Jonathan Joss right here got shot, and he sadly passed away at age 59, man. I tell you, Jesus Christ. Well, hopefully they get the guy. And of course, I don't know, like I said, that's just a statement right there. I don't know like what other details might come about, but man, but you know, obviously, you know, people take to Twitter and everything like that and just go buck wild, you know, and talk about this. And I'm just like going, yeah, this shit sucks. This shit sucks. Evil is evil. That's for damn sure. I just sometimes hate it when people like, you know, they won't give a shit about one thing, but they'll give shit about another thing. And yeah, it's just pretty crazy. It almost sounds a little, yeah, at the beginning of Pride Month too. It's pretty crazy. All right, that's it with the tweets. Are we good? Everything okay? Everything okay? So James Gunn, yeah. All right, so we're good now. No tweaks, no tweaking of the of all that. Okay. All right, we got plenty of DCU news to talk about. I'm just gonna kind of go through. I mean, I'm basically just gonna be pulling things from DC films, DC film news, and just kind of show you all the. I mean, like I said, there's been so many things, so many freaking things, and we got videos and everything. We talked about these. We talked about a lot of things, a lot of toys and stuff. And like I said, the marketing is kicked big time into gear. The marketing is kicked off big time. So there's going to be a world tour. Okay, well, let's start off with this. Why did this have to be a thing? Well, because there are people out there that don't use this, or they're just so blind. They blindly hate James Gunn so much. They blindly hate the DCU so much. They blindly hate this new Superman so much that they get super petty and they just get outright ridiculous and just make a fool out of themselves. And yes, if somebody, in fact, made a fool out of himself by making a video and doing that petty, stupid, petty bitch thing that some of these guys really love to do, which I don't understand, especially when they crawl up in my mentions like, well, what about, you know, I thought Superman wasn't supposed to kill. I thought this and I thought that. I'm like, I didn't think that. Why are you coming to me with this? I'm not one of those that thought that. Why don't you go find one of them? And they can never really find one of them because they're just screaming out into the ether, just hoping that they're heard. I don't know. I don't get it. But James Gunn had to clarify that toy commercial with the kaiju, not actual footage from the film. Because somebody asked, so Superman is going to kill the kaiju. like I'm just kind of going like, what are we doing here? People actually thought that a toy commercial, that things that happen in toy commercials, again, back to the toys. Back to the toys. We got grown adults freaking out about toys and toy commercials. Like, what are we doing here? But the individual who made the video, I don't put that past him because that guy is more of a child than a lot of children that I've met. So at least there's that. Holy Lord. So at least he clarified that. So there you go. If you guys are really thinking that what happened in that toy commercial was actually going to happen, like Superman was going to punch the belly of the kaiju and a bunch of slime was going to be coming out, that's not actually going to happen. Oh, boy. I thought we weren't supposed to have Superman's not supposed to kill. Okay. Did you make your point with the toy commercial? Hopefully you did. Then we got a world tour. So we got the world tour of Superman that's going to be happening in July. Beijing, New York, Los Angeles, Paris, London, Rio de Janeiro, and I can't even say that. Manila, I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong. My brain's not working. But yes, there you go. There's the Superman World Tour. Me, of course, mispronouncing everything and everything. So, my bad. But you got the World Tour that's happening. You got a fun little behind-the-scenes video with Corn Sweat and Brosnahan driving to the set.
This is David Corn Sweat. Who are you again?
I forgot my name. Oh my God.
We're trying to get to work. We've got work to do. I'm taking a detour here. Oh, we're just pulling up to Superman base camp here. We got to shoot our scene today. Can't show you any of it, obviously. Can't tell you what it's about.
And we got to give him an exclusive
Corn
scoop.
Sweat's
What can we
dog?
say?
Or is
There's a
that
man in a cape. We saw one. You heard it here first, folks. See you next time.
yeah.
Oh my God. Ready?
Let's do it.
So were they shooting that scene, the interview scene? I don't know, but it's a funny little video. It's cute. It's a cute video. It's cute. It's cute. I mean, Jesus Christ, Rachel Brosnahan, I love her. Anyways, and then of course, we have Corn Sweat working out.
It's not about getting better. It's about getting bigger. That was 4. This is the last one. I'm just not strong enough yet.
Lifting.
But I'll be that strong in a week. Okay.
Of course, training.
It's been a hell of a week at the office.
See right there. This is where see right there, that's where he's looking like the most Superman right there. It's the most Superman he's looked. That shot right there was just like, oh, okay, there you go. There's a Superman. There's a Superman.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
I'm not saying he didn't before. I'm just saying right there he looks like, all right. So yeah, there you go. So showing the workout, showing him like prepping for that. You know, we could all have arguments on, you know, if you gain like 40 pounds in 6 months, probably had a little help. They all do it, but hey, what can you do? Let's see, what else we have? We got some more commercial stuff. Yeah, there's the statue that I was telling you guys about. You know, don't buy your kid this statue, or else he's gonna get shoved into a locker and get a fucking toilet swirly. But yeah, there's the statue right there, which looks pretty cool. Superman and Crypto. That's the Iron Studios one. Of course, you can see the back of it with that lovely cape. The lovely capes. Pretty sweet. But again, don't buy your kid that because you'll get shoved into a locker. Crazy, right? I know. And then we have this. So we have this Superman featurette, which this captured the hearts of a lot of people. A lot of people are passing this around and going, oh my God, Jesus Christ, this was, and this is smart. This is smart stuff right here. Again, just doing little videos like that, little behind the scenes stuff, showing the actors, showing how likable they are, because it's always good to show the likability of an actor, especially when it comes to a movie like this. I think that's what they always want to emphasize when you want, people to look in people. I tell you, I saw so many people just rave over this, and it's a good little 30-second clip. And this is when David Corn Sweat when they were shooting in Cleveland and shooting with like the kids and everything, and when they're showing David Corn Sweat interacting with the children.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Good work.
How is Superman to work with?
He's fun.
Nice work, everybody. High fives. Boom. Boom. I did meet Coogler, so I was training plays. Well, you're doing great work today. Oh, it looks like they might be ready. Are you guys ready?
One step back. Let's roll, please. Ready and action!
Fun fact, that little girl is the daughter of the stunt coordinator. That's right. So the stunt coordinator on Superman, that is his daughter. So get them young. And not to mention the way that they shot this scene too. Don't think like, oh yeah, they put her in danger and just dropped this whole thing. That whole thing right there is a completely different shot. They are not, you know, none of this is actually happening. It's two shots that are layered on each other. If you saw the behind the scenes, when they actually show when they actually show all those, you know, tanks or whatever shooting out of that truck, there's actually like a blue, like you see like little mannequins that are right there. And then of course they shot the scene with him actually, you know, protecting her. And then naturally they add the cape effect and everything. So just like 3 different kind of things happening in there when it comes to achieving that shot. But I just thought that was really cool that that's actually the stunt coordinator's daughter, who, well, looks like she's going to have a career in stunts, possibly. And then, Jesus Christ, of course, you know, you show all these videos, we saw 2 behind-the-scenes videos, no James Gunn. No James Gunn, but fucking Jimmy Guns couldn't help himself, right? Got to post one with him. It's almost like he's like the director of the movie or something, right? The nerve of this guy talking about directing Superman as if he's the director of Superman.
I am James Gunn. I am the director of Superman.
And he is the director. Shit.
When I'm watching the monitor, I'm really watching each of the particular shots to make sure everything is going well. That means the camera operators are doing exactly what's
he gets
appropriate,
to watch
that the background actors are doing what's appropriate, of course that the actors are doing what they can do, the best they can do. And then after each shot, I walk in and I give the camera operators and the actors and the background actors sometimes comments about what they could maybe do to make it better, or something else we could maybe try as an experiment to see if it might work better, which it does sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. I am a...
What? Stop trying to pretend like you're some kind of director there, Jimmy Guns. There's some interesting things in here, though, too. There's like something on the screen talking about, I think that we saw in the trailer where like the river gets like ripped apart. They're kind of showing that right there. So there is some like little Easter eggs that you could see in here, and there's like another, let's see, you could see some things on the screen. I mean, people were zooming in on stuff. They were talking about floods and lots of things. But yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, there's nothing really else I guess you could see right there. But yeah, there you go. So you had a James Gunn one too. Good old Jimmy Guns. And then yes, okay, so let's talk about this as well. Yeah, there was a, World of Real that came out that we're talking about like, oh yeah, Superman's doomed, Superman reshoots, firing the composer John Murphy, and you know, of course, that got released, and I remember seeing that going, oh, here we go. And of course, a lot of people, especially who want this movie to crash and burn, were passing that around. They didn't give a shit. They just saw screenshots, and they were like, yes, this is against Superman. I'm definitely going to post this. Because, again, those fucking idiots didn't learn anything when it came to the Snyder Cut movement at all. They didn't learn jack shit. They just got spoiled by something, and then now since they're not getting more of that, they must destroy this, so anything that comes out. So basically, THR, when they had like one of their little email things come out, they basically talked about how the reshoots, when it came to reshoots and everything that was happening, when it came to that it was very minimal when it comes to that. It was like only like a few days that they did some kind of reshoots. John Murphy did not get fired. They just added on another composer. Where was that right there? Like I said, there was like a whole list of things, and I can't even see it. What's going on? Okay, so let's see right here. So it goes, here's what we know. This is what THR knows. The movie had 3 days of pickups in Atlanta, but no major reshoots. John Murphy started as composer, providing the John Williams-inspired electric guitar riff, and Dave Fleming was brought in as an additional composer early on this year. Both of their music will be in the movie, as well as plenty of Williams tones. So they're both going to be in there. Nobody got fired. And there have been a few test screenings. I'm no defender of Gunn, but none of this is unusual, says one source with knowledge of the inner workings of DC. It's part of honing of the movie, any movie. Yes, we just heard that Fantastic Four, and we're going to be talking about that. But of course, you know, certain individuals don't even mention about that. They want Fantastic Four to be the winner because now they're MCU fans. Studio sources say that Gunn is due to deliver a final and locked movie next Friday. That's 5 weeks before its July 11th release date and sign of a studio satisfaction. So there you go. So we got all that. And that's a normal thing too. Some people are like, how the hell do we not have a runtime? How do we not have picture lock? I'm like, I don't know. How the hell do you not know how these big blockbuster movies work? Sometimes that's just what happens with these big movies, with all of them. They sometimes can come down to the wire. There have been times where you hear that right before the premiere, like hours before the premiere, they've delivered the final fucking cut of the movie. That's what's so crazy. And then there's even times when they've shown the movie at the premiere and they're still working on VFX and stuff. That's what's crazy. It's like, yeah, this kind of shit happens. But luckily, again, if it's coming in 5 weeks prior to the movie releasing, I don't know. That seems to be a good thing. But I know some people are thinking that it should be 6 months before it comes out. But hey, those guys are experts, not me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I mean, it was funny, too, because that World of Real article, it wasn't as if, like, I mean, they were still talking about the same kind of things. They just spun it into a negative. That's what was so crazy. Because if you read what was going on there, they were talking about, oh, yeah, there's reshoots happening. There's, like, going to be pickups happening. Oh, yeah, there is David Fleming, who did come on for that. But they were making it sound like John Murphy was fired. They were saying, like, the editor was fired. They were saying that there was going to be some massive reshoots. And I'm going, where are these massive reshoots coming from? Did we even hear about that? If there was going to be massive reshoots, they would have to do stuff that's going to be outside. Or are they just going to do it in a studio? What are we doing? I don't know. It's all crazy, but, you know, just more fuel to the fire of all this crazy shit. And then, of course, people were passing this billboard around when it came to marketing in Hollywood. Hollywood. I know exactly where this is. Valhalla Entertainment, that little building right there. July 11th, holding up the July 11th. Looks pretty cool. Get that date like front and center. Good billboards. You want it 3D like. You want it 3D like, right? I did find it funny. I will say, I'll always point out, like, when I'll laugh at a little Photoshop, even like, you know, even when it's from one of the crazies in the fandom that want this movie to crash and burn. They took out all the letters except for the L and the fact that he's holding up the L. Okay, I'll give you that one. Hey, credit where credit's due. You know, most of the times you guys are pissing and moaning about stupid shit, but you know, sometimes there could be a clever one every now and again where it's like, oh yeah, you removed everything else, and he's just holding up the L, and I'm like, okay, that's good. I'll give you that. You know, but most of the time these 50-year-old dudes are sounding like children. Anyways, okay. What else we got? I said there was so many things, and naturally we. And this was obviously, this created an issue with some of the diehard fans, certain diehard fans. But apparently they didn't like this. They didn't like this at all because nothing can be good, you know, when it comes to this movie, especially James Gunn. This is where that James Gunn derangement syndrome. But if you guys saw this, that they were the Real Outreach was raising money, doing a GoFundMe, so underprivileged kids can go see Superman. They do this for all the big movies. So then kids can actually go and see it. And currently right now, they're trying to get $15,000. They're currently at $75,78. So they're about 51% to their goal. So if you have any extra spare money, you want to just like give it to a good cause, hey, this is a good cause right here. James Gunn provided $1,000 to help reach their goal. And he was very much like, hey, let's let's do this. Let's get this happening. So good on Jimmy Guns, but man, and like I said this on Friday. I'm like, all right, some of these guys, I just go, okay, I have to like make me understand. Okay, so you're the adult, you're the mature one because you want the more mature Superman. You know what Zach gave us, which I'm totally all about. But the fact that I'm looking for this, it's like you're looking down on me that I'm looking that James Gunn's doing some kind of children's movie, but then you don't want children to go see it. You think like why would anybody want to raise money for children to go see a James Gunn movie? And I'm like going, which one is it? Is James Gunn making a children's movie, or is he making too much of a mature movie that's going to have too many mature jokes? Can you just clarify that for me? Like, which one is it? Which one is it? Just tell me. Just tell me. I just want to know. Like, which one am I supposed to believe? Okay, is he making something for kids, or is he, I don't know. Maybe they think he's making something for immature teenagers? Is that what we're going for? I don't know. Is that what it is? I don't know. Some of the things that I just had, but yeah. So, anyways, that's good. That's good. And they love that, of course. They woke up to that and they're like, yep. And then, cover your eyes, folks. We got that Jimmy Guns guy again. He posted this with this really cool Superman standee right there. I think that's actually a really cool Superman standee. I wonder which theaters are going to have that. I think that's actually a pretty sweet looking standee right there. And put that freaking, they're emphasizing that date. I think that's what's the beauty part about Superman is you already know what it is. You see that S, you already know it's like, oh, that's a Superman movie. So you don't have to put the title anywhere. You just put that fucking date. Put that date. James Gunn couldn't lift that. See how scrawny his arms are? Okay. Let's talk about more Superman stuff before we got Clay. Yeah, then of course we got Peacemaker stuff too. So I had a little fun over the weekend. I did. And, other people did too. And I'm not even going to claim that this was my joke. I just saw a video because, this is what can be crazy about, just especially when you go to the For You side of Twitter. What I like about the For You side of Twitter, first off, it can be a war zone. The algorithm for Twitter For You is batshit crazy, and there's no holding back. It's not like the For You, on TikTok and all that stuff. That could be like censored things. You're not gonna. I've seen some really just dark and disturbing things on my For You page when it comes to Twitter. But sometimes I like to just roam down there just to see if you find something. You find something there that you maybe could tweet about, or just, hey, maybe I can make a video about this or talk about this on a stream. And of course, this is what happened this weekend. And Lois and Clark. There's an episode of Lois and Clark that I completely forgot about. I watched Lois and Clark. I grew up on Lois and Clark. Loved that show. But there's an episode of Superman that I completely forgot about. And then when I saw the video, when I saw the whole sequence, I went, holy shit. Well, I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to stir that pot a little bit. And sure enough, that's what happened. And then, of course, other people decided to even comment about the same thing. And I just posted 3 images from Lois and Clark, Man of Steel, and of course the new Superman. And I said Lois and Clark is the blueprint. And that blueprint is the fact that Superman gets arrested, and we have DC Film News right here that put the whole thing. But look at that, right up on top. Superman is getting arrested in this scene right here. Of course, he doesn't have the handcuffs in this one, but he goes through the whole process of getting, and it's very, it's kind of dumb and kind of just whatever, but completely forgot about that. And yeah, man, I tell you what, you know how many times that I had somebody in my mentions go, the comics are the blueprint. No shit. It's a joke. A joke. And I wasn't even talking about the comics. I know the comics are the blueprint. They are, of course. They're the blueprint of every little bit of this. If it was for the comics, we wouldn't have these movies. But I'm talking about live action. And the fact that we always have the joke, which pisses off, people who hate Zach, when we say Zach's the blueprint. I was like, well, yeah, let's talk about, because we've seen that before, especially when we saw the scene where Superman, the new Superman gets arrested. Of course, people were going like, Zack Snyder's a blueprint. And then I saw that, I was like, oh, Lois and Clark is the blueprint, because everything's inspired by everything else. And then it was kind of funny too, because where was it? Oh yeah, somebody actually brought this to my attention too, just to add a little bit more. Just to add a little bit more to it. Let me find it here. But just to add a little bit more to that noise that was happening. I should have already pulled up, but yeah, again, it's just, I don't know how many times I saw people just say like, oh, the comics are the blueprint. It's like, yeah, no shit. It's like, I get it. Rogue, Rogue, Mr. Rogue right here, Sayon, he posted this. Bro, it really is the blueprint. And they got Superman in court. Oh, come on. To which, of course, I, retweeted that and made the joke about that too. But it's like, oh, God. Obviously, I'm not being serious. But it's so funny. Again, like when you see people taking it so seriously. And it's just great. It's all in good fun. But, of course, majority of the people were just, having fun with it, which is good. And that's what, and then, of course, other people were, like, making note of that, too. Because, like I said, that Lois and Clark clip was just roaming around for no reason. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, shit, I forgot about this. He got arrested, too. Wow. He just don't like the cuffs. It's funny because they're all different. So, I mean, you have Dean Cain's Superman, he's going willingly, and he's like, all right, I'll do this. You don't have to worry about me. I'll be fine. You don't have to handcuff me or nothing, because that's going to be completely redundant anyways, right? You don't need to do that. You have Man of Steel, which he goes willingly, and then, of course, he does get handcuffed, which is a funny moment, if you think about it. It's a funny moment. It's a subtle, funny moment that happens in Man of Steel. And then, of course, Lois even asked, like, well, why'd you have him handcuffed you? He's like, he wanted to give, hey, I'm showing you that, I'm going to cooperate. And, of course, we see him, like, eventually just ting, like that. When it comes to the new Superman, though, you better believe that these cuffs are, like, they're special, powerful cuffs. Maybe got some kryptonite in them. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of wondering about those cuffs right there. Kind of curious about that. And then, of course, yesterday, guys. Okay, so yesterday, CCXP and Peacemaker, James Gunn, John Cena, that all happened yesterday, and most of it was streamed live. And that first round, holy Lord. I almost felt sorry for James Gunn, because that dude was trying to keep up with John Cena, and John Cena was Ric Flairing it up. Woo! He was just going crazy. He was going for it. John Cena was on a good one. And of course, people are saying like, geez, what is he on? And blah, blah, blah. Maybe he just was feeling good and was feeling energetic. I don't know. But John Cena totally took the show, just stole the show. They could barely ask questions. And it was just absolutely crazy and ridiculous. They gave him a Lucha Libre mask. I mean, there was all things happening. James Gunn was trying to be like, he was sitting down, but John Cena could not sit down that entire time. It was crazy. So the only thing from that first panel that was revealed is James Gunn said that in the first episode of Peacemaker, we meet, of course, Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner and Max Lord. That's it. Like, we'll see that in the first episode, which kind of makes sense. Not really much there, but that was like the thing that was revealed right there too. But luckily there was a second panel. There was a second panel where, okay, and I'm kind of wondering, like, hey man, reel it in. Did James Gunn is like, dang, can you reel it in a little bit? That was like a little crazy. Maybe not. James Gunn probably didn't care. I don't know. Who knows? But they talked about all kinds of things, and then of course, James Gunn said, there might be some kind of big cameo that shows up in like the last episode. I think we already heard that. There's a lot of things when it comes to details with that. A lot of people are going, is it Booster Gold? Is it Batman? Even James Gunn said during this panel that he would like to have Peacemaker and Batman to fight. So, I mean, if he's saying that, that means most likely they might cross paths somewhere when it comes to it. But of course, they did release a little featurette when it came to Peacemaker with some additional footage and some interesting footage. So let's break down it right here. There he is. Look at this. You got to know this scene's going to be intense. You got Rick Flag Sr. confronting his son's killer. Huh?
You know what we're doing here?
All right. Did you guys notice this? Look who's that. Look at that. That's Otis. Otis. Not sure who this guy is, but Otis, Lex Luthor's right-hand man, he's going to be in Peacemaker, Season 2.
You know what we're doing here? Stomping on John.
So yeah, there you go right there. So apparently Rick Flag Sr. is going to go to town. He's going to go to town on
See his face.
Peacemaker, Season 2. This is my day 1.
It's the first day.
Delete that part. I want no evidence.
I got nothing to say to you.
Here we go.
It's really not much. You see
It's
right
nice
here.
to see everybody again.
Oh, there's something. So who the hell was that? Now, we're all suspecting that this is actually Peacemaker's brother in the new timeline. You know, when we saw that mural with his dad and everything, the whatchamacallit, I forget what the dad's character's name was, but yes, we're thinking that this is the brother right here.
I didn't know where I was or who I
Tell the
was.
story wrong.
Yeah.
We're having a little jam session over here. It's all baby.
What the hell is that? Is that a white Martian? A lot of people are going, is this a white Martian? Is this the white Martian? I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is. Some kind of alien creature. There's even people going like, oh, is this an indication that there's going to be something with Martian Manhunter? Huh? Nah. They wouldn't reveal that in some behind-the-scenes featurette. Interesting choice. Not to mention the Martian doesn't look that white. It looks more gray. But it is some kind of alien creature. There's what's her name?
That's the boss talking.
It's all real cash. We trust our crew.
Let me show you what you got going on.
I want my agent. I need a bigger trailer. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
Season 2 is gonna be awesome.
I don't think you guys are ready for it.
A lot of big fights.
This is gonna be bananas.
This is my favorite day of a ride shooting in my life.
You ready for the next adventure, pal?
Oh, that's Peacemaker versus Peacemaker right there. So there we go. I think he missed the punch right there. But yeah, Peacemaker versus Peacemaker. You could see like he's even got like a little jetpack thing. Have you noticed that? He's got a little jetpack thing on in the back of his costume right here. So, that's pretty much it. HBO Max. Hey, look at the HBO Max logo. How about that? All right. So there you go. Some interesting little things. You got an alien. You got dude doing a cannonball into a freaking helicopter. You got Peacemaker versus Peacemaker. You know, obviously the Pocket Universes. James Gunn talked a little bit about that too. It's all just going to be, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. That's it. That's the way I'm looking at it. And then speaking of Superman, we did get Empire Magazine. They released a new image of Nicholas Hoult as, looks like kind of like an angry Lex Luthor right there. Angry Lex. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to Superman. James Gunn did say that he had inspiration when it came to Godzilla -1. That was pretty cool. He gave some props to that because, thinking about like his kaiju scene, he was like, okay, yeah, there's the kaiju, there's Godzilla, but there's also this human story that you really got to like think about too. And the director, Takashi Yamazaki, he actually heard that, and I guess it made him a little teary-eyed, he said. So that's cool. Yeah, much props to that dude. I'm loving the fact that people are giving him so many props. But now we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this because I don't know what's happening, but who's going to be next in line? I mean, are we going to find out that? This is the second director. I mean, we already knew that Christopher McQuarrie pitched a Man of Steel sequel. We already heard about that. So, you know, that wasn't anything really new. We just got more info. He just gave a little bit more details when it came to that. But how about a Michael Bay Man of Steel 2? What? That's right. A Michael Bay Man of Steel 2. According to the Wrap, well, that's in the whole big thing, but I'm not even going to, we'll get to that stuff because that talks about the budget and whatnot. Oh. Oh, go away. Sorry. Hit the wrong button right there. Before hiring James Gunn and Peter Safran, Warner Brothers reportedly considered Michael Bay to direct a new standalone Henry Cavill Superman film in 2022. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? I can. Slightly. That could have been a disaster, but it would have looked good. You know, when I saw that, I went, holy shit. Can you imagine that? Michael Bay directing a Superman movie. Now, it would probably be a little shallow. It wouldn't be, I don't know, the story. I don't know how good the story would be. But then again, I'm like, well, as long as somebody else writes the story and he just shoots that story, fine. You know, but then I'm kind of going like, okay, but how many, like, is like Superman just like after he, you know, punches some Kryptonian guy in the face, he's going to grab a Bud Light, and, you know, or something. I don't know. It's like Michael Bay is like, I like Michael Bay. I like Michael Bay a lot. And I think like, you know, for the most part, his visual aesthetic would actually fit in line with Zach. We got to remember that him and Zach went to the same film school. They were within that same, I think they were not in the same years, but they almost overlapped each other. Like they know each other from that film school in Pasadena. So they do have similar styles. They both came from directing commercials. So they do have similar styles when it comes to that. So I part of me is going, yeah, that could have worked. But then part of me goes, yeah, but all the Bayisms, so many Bayisms after we had like these subtle, like we had these, you know, the Snyderisms are one thing, but Snyder has always been, you know, hey, I want to tell the story. Bay has just been more about the sauce, more, you know, the substance, I guess you could say, than or style over substance. I don't know, that whole fucking thing when people talk about that, I don't know. There's like the style over substance. Bay is way more style. Snyder is style for sure. Substance, I would say that Snyder has way more substance. Bay doesn't have that much substance when it comes to his, I don't know, but I think it could have worked. Could have worked, but also it could have been a disaster as well. It's like one of those things where I'm at a loss, where I'm going, maybe in another universe I would actually want to see that. Maybe in another universe, you know, go to that timeline where that actually was a thing. But then at the same time, remember, they were also going to be tapping him for a Lobo movie, which I thought, well, that really works, just because that character is just absolutely, you know, just the way that character is, that's just right up Michael Bay's alley. Superman, on the other hand, I don't know, it's pretty interesting, but could have made something with it. Just would have, you know, like I said, when people like talk about how James Gunn's like some kind of perv, you know how many times where Superman just goes flying and then some girl's like skirt goes up? That would definitely probably be happening in a Michael Bay movie, right? Where, oh my God, you know, something. He just swoops by and skirt goes up. He probably would have put that in there, right? Wouldn't be surprised, but hey. That was a lot of people were talking about that today, and it was like, holy shit. All right, now over to Clayface. Clayface, Mike Flanagan, which it's disappointing that Mike Flanagan is not going to be directing the Clayface movie because, you know, he turned in the script, James Gunn praised the script, and then we heard that, oh, he's actually not going to be directing it because he's got so many projects. He's doing the Carrie reboot series or remake series. He's doing, the Dark Towers. He's doing that series. He's got all kinds of projects, so he can't do the Clayface movie, but he did write the script. He sent it in. James Gunn loved it, greenlit it. But then, of course, I think the new director, I forgot what his name is also going to be like, oh, yeah, there's going to be someone coming in to like help kind of shape it into what they want to do. Now, that does make you nervous because you're kind of going like, oh, but it's Mike Flanagan. Why are you going to touch something that put thought into it, especially a Clayface movie? And we all assumed that it was based off of Feet of Clay, Part 1 and Part 2 from Batman the Animated Series, that turned Clayface into the Clayface that we know now, the big shape-shifting monster. And if you watch both of those two parts, it is a great storyline for Clayface. And talking to comicbook.com, he said, yes, I was heavily inspired by that episode, or those two, the two-parter, heavily inspired. So hopefully they don't change too much. And I think we can assume that there's still going to be very much aspects of that in there. And I'm going, sweet. But we have actors. We have actors, guys. Oh boy, do we have actors. And I don't really like the source where this is coming from, but I saw another source that I trust that said, yes, I, for one, got this list as well when it comes to short list of who's going to be starring in this movie. George McKay, Tom Blythe, Jack O'Connell, and Leo Woodall. So these guys right here, these gentlemen right here. Mr. Carlo playing Carlo. Baslow? I don't know if they're what the name or how they're going to go with the name, but they could go with Hennigan? I forgot what they named him in Batman the Animated Series. But yeah, these three are apparently on the short list, and I'm going, give me some of that O'Connell, man. O'Connell's my choice. After Sinners, after watching him in Sinners, yeah. Let's get Jack O'Connell in there. I'm liking that. And then the question still is Batman going to show up in Clayface? Is he going to show up? I think that would be a unique opportunity to introduce Batman into the DCU, but that's still up in the air. Huh? And finally, guys, god damn, there's so much DCU news. So many DC news. I think this is it. Was there anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, no. Well, we'll get to it in a little bit. I forgot to talk about the main things when it comes to Superman. We'll get that in a little bit right here, but I wanted to bring this up because this got posted. This is a few days ago. And if we're all kind of wondering exactly what's happening with that Constantine 2 script and movies and everything, we remember hearing that, the producers like, oh yeah, it's in the work in progress. They want us to do it. Keanu's wanting to do it and blah, 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 blah. Well, Keanu's not too happy. That's right. Keanu Reeves, of all people, not happy. Keanu Reeves is not happy with Constantine 2 scripts, says co-star Peter Starmore. That's right. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. It's a lot of back and forth because I think Keanu, which I know pretty good, is not so happy with the scripts and usually what comes out of the studios. Because the first one wasn't that successful in the beginning, it became a sleeper and became a cult movie, and now it is one of the biggest cult movies ever. But to do a sequel, the studios want to have, cars flying in the air. They want to have people doing flip-flops and fighting action scenes. And I think Keanu says, I've done John Wick. This movie is spiritual. It's about demons and regular people. I wanted to keep it that way, and we talked about that. I want to do God coming down exactly the same way, but in a black suit and looking more or less like Lucifer from the first one. I'm 12 years old, so it's going to be hard to, completely imitate the first movie. Well, it's 12 years old. But I think Keanu, he wants to do a sequel that is very close to the first one. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. And, hopefully they could figure something out. The fact that it's still on the table is pretty good, but yeah, I can understand that they're like, well, what if we do this and what if we do that and make it, crazy? But I'm going, hey, Warner Brothers, you don't have the budget to do a bunch of craziness. Make a small story. Make a small story. Keep it small. Keep it to the tone of the first one. Don't overdo it. So I'm actually okay with Keanu being not so happy when it comes to that. In my opinion, yeah. All right. Let's bring up this one. So we got the Superman budget. The Superman budget. And it's finally been revealed. Obviously, there's people that are passing around the old considered budget again, which, of course, it doesn't matter with those chuckleheads that want this fucking thing to crash and burn. They keep on passing around the same one, which is basically saying that the budget for Superman was $363 million doll hairs. And they keep on passing that around today, but apparently, according to the Wrap and Mr. Scoopy Pants right here, when it comes to this, it was this article that was being presented, And right here they said, with a budget of $225 million, Superman needs to cross the $700 million threshold at the global box office to be considered a success, according to top talent agent who spoke with The Wrap. While release dates are important, I don't think the challenge of Jurassic World Rebirth or any other film, the agent said in the film's summer competition, the challenge is almost entirely a question of if Superman resonates with today's audiences. Did they successfully update an Eisenhower-era character to the 2025 Gen Z audience can identify with him? That is the challenge. So $225 million right there, which, if I remember correctly, that is the same budget as Man of Steel. That's right. Man of Steel was the same budget. But what's funny is like, well, because let's face it, since I've seen some of those guys do the inflation math when it comes to, okay, so if Man of Steel was released today and it made the same amount as it made then, this is how much it would have made. This is how much BVS would have made. They did that whole thing. So then you kind of go like, all right, well, if you play the numbers game, technically this Superman, the budget is less than Man of Steel, because Man of Steel back then, $225 million, that would have been inflated to over 300. I remember it was like 361 or something like that. I remember I looked at the math of it all. So that would have been inflated to be even more. So I mean, like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to play the numbers game. You're going to play the numbers game over here. You got to play it over here. It's just one of those things. If you're going to count inflation over here, you got to count inflation over here. But I always say too, though, guys. $225 million reported budget. Sure, that's what's reported. You could probably tack on 40, 50 million, 60 million more dollars. Hey, you can easily do that. Like anytime the studio posts like a reported budget, yeah, you could probably tack on $50 million. They're always going to report lower than it actually is. So yeah, that's probably not the actual it probably is closer to 300. It probably is like 270 million, probably 280. It probably even got to that. But that's the thing. That's what happens with budgets. Don't ever trust the budgets when it comes to that. So, but at the same time, yeah, and then, 225, the rule is you times it by 2.5 or 3, and yeah, $700 million if it gets to even close to that point. But at the same time, they're even saying, even if it passes $500 million, it's going to be considered, okay, we're good, we're moving along, keep moving along, there's enough interest there, we're doing all that. I mean, William has said many times, even on the Vodka stream, that you make $500 million, that's, crack open the champagne. In this day and age. But that's the thing, is this Superman going to resonate? I mean, obviously marketing is kicking in the gear big time. Seems like people are hyped about it, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It's definitely not going to be a flop. Definitely not going to be a flop, but will it make that $700 million? It definitely has the potential to do this. I always said I thought it would be, 600, 700, but if the hype is there, it could even reach up to 800. So they would definitely be happy with that. And there's already early box office projections, which I go, okay, way too early. There's like a website that is already projecting it to have $150 to $180 million domestic opening, which, if that means internationally it'd probably be twice as much. So it would have a pretty good opening if those projections are to be true. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going by? Are you just going by analytics from social media, hype, and seeing them with that? I guess so, because we don't even have pre-sales yet. I mean, apparently that's going to be happening next week. So that's when I could start taking projections a little bit more seriously. And then naturally, what do people do too? Because again, they gotta any kind of hype, any kind of anything when it comes to this movie. They're like, this is the same website that predicted that The Flash was gonna make this much money, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh man. God, I've never seen people just be so dedicated online to make sure that people can't enjoy a movie. It's so weird. Again, Snyder Cut movement. They lost the messaging. Just totally, and they never had it. They never had it. What are we talking about here? They never had the messaging. Give me a fucking break. Did they have the messaging? They never did. Anyways, but yeah, so those, the projections are way too early. I think let's wait. I like to see the projections a week out. Those are where you're going to get definitely like pretty dead on. 2 weeks out, sure. But, you know, I think like a month out, that's when they'll really start cracking down the projections. But I'm always like, you know, 2, maybe 3 weeks out, that's when you start really paying attention. But definitely a week before, that's when you're going to really, you know, and then of course a week of, that's when you really are going to be, you know, getting those numbers spot on or something like that. Yeah, even 600 million would be pretty damn good. But we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I don't know. Jurassic World just doesn't seem like the hype is there as much as I thought there would be. At least online. The general audience might eat it all up because it's dinosaurs again. I don't know. It's just sometimes there's part of me goes like, maybe Jurassic World's not going to be the one that pulls people in. Maybe it will be you know, Fantastic Four and Superman will be the golden gooses, you know, but a lot of people are projecting, you know, people are saying that, yes, that Superman could be the big hit of the summer. I hope so. I hope it is. But then you just wonder where's the goalpost going to be moved to next time? Obviously they'll just play the inflation game again. But then you could play, so if you ever get into a dispute where they play the inflation game where, you know, you have to inflate what Man of Steel made, which was like 683 million, and of course, you know, in today's world, it'd be like 800 and something million. So then you got to go like, okay, but then you got to count the budget, and you could do that. You know, it's like, wait a minute, the budget was the same budget, but yet if you're gonna inflate it, you got to inflate it, and it's gonna be like, you know, I don't know. You can play those games, or you could just ignore it completely. I don't know. Probably just ignore it completely. All right, I think that's all the DCU news. Holy crap, that was a lot of news. But yeah, there's no way. When people are comparing it to The Flash, I'm just going, it's not going to even be the same. Not going to be the same. I mean, The Flash was The Flash. I was there day one. I saw it twice in the theater. I still enjoy it. Yes, there's issues with it. Yes, they were trying to use Michael Keaton's Batman as a way to put people in the seats because, you know, not a lot of people know The Flash. I mean, I think people know The Flash, but they're not going to be too excited for it. Ezra Miller, of course, that was the controversy around Ezra was a thing too. I wouldn't say it was like a huge thing, but it was it was something that had somewhat of an effect on the movie. But this is not the same. There's no controversies behind this movie. There's no controversies with any of the actors. It's Superman, and James Gunn, you know, is a name. He is a brand. And you're putting that name on there, you know, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. And people see that and go, oh, I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So that will help as well. So just not really the same at all. But let's talk about Fantastic Four. And let's see, CCXP. CCXP happened, let's see. Where was that one thing? Because they talked about it. Because obviously they were at CCXP. Of course, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So CCXP, the whole cast was there. They just flew in because they are filming. They're filming Avengers Doomsday, so they had to go right back to filming. And then of course they showed a scene. They actually showed a scene from Fantastic Four, and I'll describe it for you right here. It's not really much. It almost seems like, wait a minute, did they just show like the last scene of the movie or one of the last scenes of the movie? So, I don't know, I was like going, wait, why did they show this scene? Because I think we saw the other end of this scene right here, but this is according to the Omelette. It includes Sue Storm going into labor on the F4's spaceship while Silver Surfer chases after them, intent on capturing the newborn. Reed then orders Ben to take them into a black hole. And then they show up and the Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers, see them on screen. Was that the end? I mean, like, what? Why would they show? That's pretty good right there. Silver Surfer. I like that. I'm like going, why? What? That was what they showed? That seems a little interesting. Or is that going to be supposed to be at the beginning? Are they going to do that thing where it's like, oh, it's actually, they're going to be showing that as like a cold open kind of thing? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But then, the other bit of shit that came out this weekend too, and I couldn't believe it when I woke up and I was going, oh my God. I swear, test screenings need to go away. I don't know how but at the same time, it's like I don't think the studios were ever going to get rid of test screenings. But yes, apparently the other day, like a few days ago, there was another test screening that was happening. People were saying that it was Superman, and it was another Superman test screening, and sure enough, it was not Superman, because I guess Superman is just basically going to be locked in another week. But it was a Fantastic Four test screening. And a lot of people were talking about it like they were fucking there. And I'm going, what are you doing? You're just hearing from somebody. I mean, there are people that are they're just hearing from people and just talking to people and getting everything spoiled to them. And then they want to fucking put it on their timeline. And I'm going, what are you doing? You know, why? What do you desperately want to be a scooper where you're just asking somebody who attended a goddamn test screening? What are we doing here? But yeah, there was like all this kind of stuff. There was even drama with an actual, you know, scooper, I guess you could say. Daniel RPK, he actually, I think he put his account on lock on Twitter, if I read that correctly, but he put something out there that basically said that, yeah, that somebody during the screening when it was over yelled out, "Mid! It's mid!" And both Stackman, whatever the freaking the director, and Kevin Feige were at there, and they were not happy to hear the reactions, and they were making it sound like people were just like basically booing or whatever the heck, and they said like, oh yeah, the VFX were only like 25% done and blah blah blah. Turns out it was like a lot of that was bullshit, because that's what happens, folks. There's a lot of bullshit out there. I don't know why people are taking people seriously. So a lot of drama that was happening like that. I mean, I wake up Sunday morning going, why is everybody talking about a Fantastic Four screening? And then people had to clarify what they were talking about and all this kind of stuff. And it was just, I'm like, guys, you weren't there. Shut up, okay? You were just told by somebody, stop it. If you're not there, shut up. Who cares? It's test screenings. Let them do their test screenings, whatever. I don't know. That would be pretty crazy, though, if the VFX were still not fully done. And then I'm just kind of going, uh-oh, are we back at it where we have VFX houses that are working 24/7 to complete this goddamn thing? Hopefully not. Because you know that people will get pissed. That would be pretty crazy. People will get pissed. And that's all your Fantastic Four news. Oh, yeah. But that's not it. That's not it. Because Vanessa Kirby, as Sue Storm, we know she's pregnant in the movie. She's going full method, baby. That's right. Prego! Vanessa Kirby, she showed up to CCXP with a belly. She's expecting. Whoop. Alright. That didn't work. These stupid things. Stupid thing works like barely anything. Anyways, yeah, so Vanessa Kirby is expecting, so she's going full method, and people were making say, oh yeah, she's going full method and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. So that's kind of interesting. So currently right now, this is interesting. So currently right now, Vanessa Kirby is filming Avengers Doomsday pregnant. But that's not the first time that's happened. Gal Gadot, she did the infamous, I think it was the infamous No Man's Land scene. She was pregnant during that scene. Not like big time pregnant, but she was like a couple months in or something like that. Yeah. So it's not the first time it's happened. They could do a very good job at hiding the belly, you know, especially. So, but yeah, congratulations to her. So, but yeah, she's going full method. She's going full method. All right, let's talk about the box office, huh? They already spoiled how FF ends in the trailer, basically. Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of did. There's like really nothing there. I will say though, this Empire magazine cover right here with Silver Surfer and Galactus, this one slaps, as the kids say, slaps. And then there's that one right there, which somebody said that that the thing looks like cornflakes, and it's like, yeah, he definitely looks like cornflakes. He does. He does look like cornflakes. Pour some milk on him. Hopefully he doesn't get soggy. My God, I know. I'm like, I don't know why is the lighting and everything all weird right there? I don't know. Why did they have to do that to him? Poor guy, looking like fucking cornflakes. Kellogg's, Mr. Kellogg's over here. All right, let's talk about the box office. All right. So we got the box office, and of course, Lilo and Stitch. Guess what? It still made #1. Of course it did. It's dominating the box office right now. It is absolutely crazy how much money this movie has made in just 2 weeks. There's the list right there, $61.8 million. And look at that. It's already $613.5. Wow. 2 weeks, $613.5 million. Yeah, this movie's probably going to make $1 billion. Just like a lot of us said. And of course, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. It's doing pretty well. I think it's doing better than Dead Reckoning for sure. It's at $353.7 million. So that's not doing, it's doing pretty good too. So even though they had, pretty much the same kind of drop, 57.5 and 57.7, still doing fairly well at the box office. But then you got Karate Kid Legends, which you guys know I was pretty disappointed by this movie. It only made 20.3 domestic, 26 international, with a total of 46.3. I don't see this movie really doing numbers. I don't think anybody really cared so much about this movie. So, and then you got Final Destination Bloodlines, which apparently this has been the biggest. This is the biggest worldwide box office for the franchise, 230.7. I'm wondering what the budget was. I think the budget was under 100 million, or maybe it was just over 100 million, but I don't know. Looking like it's going to be making a profit. And then of course you had Bring Her Back. I've been hearing great things about this movie. It's a small movie. It only made $8 million over the weekend. I heard that movie is pretty damn disturbing, and it makes pretty uneasy, a lot of things. I do want to see that. The weekend Fantastic Four comes out, I'll watch Superman again. There you go. You can do that. You can do that. I wonder how many times I plan on seeing Superman, and I'll probably see it a couple of times. I imagine I'll see it a couple of times. But like I said, I'm one of those crazy people that I'm like, hey, I'm going to go see it all. I love it when I had somebody in my mentions, obviously over the weekend, saying, they have the hashtag, while it's closed. These guys and their fucking hashtags. I swear, I think they're like, I think some of these guys think they're doing like a noble cause. When people see these hashtags, they just go, what the fuck are you talking about? But they're like, we're doing something. It's a noble cause. While it's closed, boycott. Okay, cool. But yet you still want the same studio to give you what you want, right? Okay, sure. Okay, you got it. I got it. I'm trying to understand. Trying to understand. I've not been able to understand for a while, but hey. And I could see it in their like warped minds of how that they think that's going to be, that's going to work in their benefit. If they boycott and are always upset about the studio and blah, 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 eventually the studio is going to give in, get down on their knees, beg, and bring them what they want. AI is, AI is getting scary. It's every time we get newer versions of these AI generated videos, man, they just get better and they get better and they get better. And you know what this is going to cause, guys? You know what this is going to cause? It's going to cause people to be like, holy shit, what is happening? We got leaked videos from big movies that are being shot right now. And yes, there's already one that's out there. I already started seeing still shots yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yes, yesterday. Saw still shots. And then, sure enough, there's like a full video where it's supposedly just like a bunch of clips from the Avengers Doomsday set. And yeah, anybody who's just a casual observer who just shows up online, they probably believe this is true. Naturally, I think a lot of us who, can see through the bullshit definitely can definitely tell that this is BS, but man, it's going to be a problem for the future. Look at this. Look at that. So it's just a bunch of just random shots. You got Deadpool in there, apparently. Spider-Man, Deadpool again. Look, there's an Iron Man. Yep, there's Scarlet Witch. A lot of Doctor Doom. But yeah, look at that. They're on here. I mean, anybody who doesn't really know the difference of anything, they could believe that this is true. I would not be surprised if that got sent to me by somebody, like one of my friends or family members. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like this stuff, it's just going to be, it's going to be the future. Like, we're going to see more things like this. I mean, that's just going to have to, YouTube hopefully, you know, is going to have to break that. But at the same time, Twitter is not going to break, they're not going to do anything about it. Twitter is just the wild, wild west, you know. YouTube is trying to do their thing by cracking down on those AI videos and false trailers and everything. They're trying to do their best. But Twitter ain't going to do that. But yeah, people were believing this. I was seeing people believe it. I saw the still shots at first, and then I saw the full video. I went, oh boy. Yeah, we're going to get more of these for sure. But it's usually pretty easy to spot it because, you know, things are a little off. And then it's just, you know, you just have to use your brain and be like, why the hell would there be a video like this when they barely started shooting? Why would there be already an edited video that somebody put out there? There's no way that that would happen. So, but yeah, it's going to take things... It's going to take things into an interesting, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, so, you know. Whew. It's getting scary. All right. Let's go to some Twitter questions. This up. Let's see. Let me make sure because, you know, get some of those. Yeah, I got one of those guys that's in my mentions, but it's all right. It's good. Okay. Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later, Darren. Seeing that the Bat family will be around in the DCU, doesn't that mean Batman will be older? Yes, he'll be older. They were saying like mid-30s, mid to late 30s, which kind of funny because Robert Pattinson is that now. Eric. Hey, Dave, there have been a lot of movies based on classic TV shows, some good, some not so good. Is there a classic show that hasn't had a film adaptation where you'd like to see one? Classic TV show. Yeah, I can't think. The only ones I could think of they've all been done, like The Dragnets and Beverly Hillbillies. And yeah, I can't think of one right now. I mean, they haven't done The $1 Million Man, right? The $1 Million Man? Hasn't that been in, like, pre-production limbo with Mark Wahlberg attached to it for fucking, like, 10 years? The $1 Million Man, right? Versus Seed. For the Friday stream of Superman's release, will it be a spoiler-free? No, it's going to be totally spoilers. Yeah. That Friday, which will be July 11th, that Vodka stream will be a full-on spoiler discussion. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we're going to be doing for sure. Devin Wooter, Dave, how surprised are you that Michael Bay was so close to direct a Superman movie? I don't know how so close he was, though. I think it, you know, I don't think it was like so close, but he was probably, you know, close. Will you watch it? Will you watch it if he did it? Yeah, I would have watched it totally. I like Michael Bay. I think he would have added his flavor to it. I just, you know, but it could have been like, you know, could have been a shitty story. He's not really good with storytelling. He did. Do you believe the budget for Superman is $225? Do you think? Do you also heard that Marvel just revealed the ending for Fantastic Four? Pretty much. It's like, all right, but you know, what can you do? Oh, here's a popcorn. So that's going to be like probably what one of the popcorn buckets, or at least something. That's an LED popcorn container. That's pretty cool. Dylan G, thank you. Darkness, Dave. Question 1: if a Justice League movie isn't planned to end the first chapter of the DCU, should a World's Finest movie end it? I mean, that'd be pretty sweet. I mean, give me some Batman. Question 2, do you think the soonest we'll get a casting announcement, directing, or both for the first X-Men movie and the MCU reboot will be at... No, I don't think it'll be at 2027. I would say 2028, because they're still going to have Secret Wars coming out in 2027. So I imagine they wouldn't get onto that until 2028. Question 3, with Marvel Studios not attending San Diego Comic-Con this year, do you think they'll reveal the rest of Phase 6 some other time this year? Yeah, probably D23. And do you believe with this news that DC will definitely at least reveal the rest of the first chapter for... Yeah, that'd be kind of nice. Where's part 2? Jamie Guns of chapter 1. Jeez. It'd be nice. It's been 2.5 years, right? Question 4, with us getting no, has it been 2.5 years? Yeah, right. It's 2022. Question 4, with us getting confirmation of more spin-off projects in Matt Reeves' Batman universe, should 1 or 2 of them release before the Batman Part 2? I mean, they can. I mean, we were hearing that there was possibly a Catwoman one. I mean, I wouldn't see any issue with that being like, you know, they could be in between the 2 stories. Cooper Knox, a Michael Bay directed Superman movie would have been the most batshit insane movie of all time, and I would have loved every moment of it. Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed it myself too, to be honest. Versus Dave, let me out this locker, you big bully. I know, right? Is that one dude in there? And then, of course, we have some spam. I don't know what this is. We got some more popcorn buckets, drink holders. Jamin right here says, if Michael Bay ever made Man of Steel 2, it's going to have a lot of explosions showing women's breasts. Like I said, there would be like some girl's skirt would end up flying up after Superman, like, you know, flew right by. You better believe that would have happened. Also, sexual jokes thrown in there. What are you talking about? I thought it was only James Gunn that was like that. What? And then, of course, media cringe. I don't even know what the hell. I think media cringe is a bot. I think a bot is stalking me. But yeah, I mean, I always thought that James Gunn was like the big pervy director and everything like that. And of course, I'm seeing the usual suspects. We were robbed. But you know, because of Michael Bay. Now they're like, Michael Bay would have been better. I'm like, Michael Bay would have had way more pervier, kind of like shallower, more shit that happened in there. Have you not seen a Michael Bay movie? That's what's so funny. Just because it's not James Gunn. That's the thing. What did I say, guys? What did I say last week when I said, like, they could have any director that says that they had a pitch? It could be bad directors like Ball or fucking Paul W.S. Anderson who did all the fucking Resident Evil movies. They could have freaking turned in a treatment and these guys would have been like, we were robbed. I'm like, really? It's all because they have James Gunn derangement syndrome. Anybody is better than James Gunn. Anybody. They'd be like, anybody's better than that. And I'm just kind of going like, and then they're saying like, oh, we were robbed of Michael Bay. It's like all the stuff that, you know, like all the stuff you were talking about when it comes to like James Gunn being pervy and all that kind of stuff. That's Michael Bay. Have you not watched the Michael Bay movie? Jesus Christ. That's so funny. But again, like I said, you can't reason with these people. You can't reason with them. So, but it's fun to make fun of them because then I get called a bully, guys. Film Junkee the Bully has completed Film Junkee Live. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. Always great. Hit that like, thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Do all that. Become a member. We'll get back to doing members-only streams after Wednesday streams. And like I said, hopefully we could do something soon where you guys can join like a Saturday version of the Vodka stream if you want to. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know when we do that. Maybe this weekend, I'll let you know. And you guys have a good rest of your Monday. Have some dinner, have a dessert, whatever. Have a good Tuesday, and I'll see you right back here on Wednesday at same Junkee time, same Junkee channel. All right, talk to you later.